Hey, what's up? I'm Kyle, and I'm reviewing the course Cash Flow is King by Eric Spofford. I've taken over $100,000 worth of courses in my time, so I feel like I have a good intuition for what makes a good or bad course. And, I always endorse courses like this one that teach you how to invest in assets, whether they be physical assets or digital assets, like what I focus on mainly. But buying Section 8 properties is not an easy venture. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but it's totally worth it. If you have the means to invest in real estate and you have the grit to be able to grind through getting the funding and taking on the risk, I highly recommend taking Cash Flow is King because, learning these skills are a high barrier to entry. And once you learn them, you could be set up for life. And Section 8 properties can be very, very lucrative and easy to scale. Personally, I do a different business model where I basically do kind of digital real estate in a way where I have little 1 to 5 page websites that I rent out to business owners. So it's like an online piece of real estate. I get rental income from it every month, but my overhead is maybe $15 a month, and I make maybe $500 to $2,000 a month off each site. So I get really great cash flow, but I don't get the equity gains that physical real estate gets. But anyways, I'll talk more about what I do later in the video. But there are always two things that I always tell people to look out for when they're purchasing a course. Number one, make sure you watch a lot of the course instructors' videos on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. If they communicate information to you in a way that you comprehend and it all makes sense to you, then that's a good instructor for you, because everybody vibes with a different person differently. So if that course instructor doesn't vibe with you, you're going to be stuck watching 20 hours, 30 hours of their content and not taking in any information. It's just going to be a struggle the whole way through. But if you vibe with them, it's going to be an easy process. So watch some of their videos and get a feel for the instructor. Number two, always make sure that the course has a Facebook group or Discord group or some sort of community chat where you could reach other members of the group. Because you're going to have so many questions along the way through the learning process, and the instructor's not always going to be available to answer those questions for you. So you want to have other community members be able to get those questions answered for you quickly, or even finding business partners or tips and all that stuff. Those communities are usually more valuable than the course themselves. So a little bit about what I do with my digital real estate. The way that works is I build a little 1 to 5 page website for a certain niche within a certain city. And then I rent out that website to a business owner. So an example is I could build a website in Pittsburgh called PittsburghTowing.com. And I add 5 pages to it, put some content on it, and once I get it ranking on Google, showing up for the keyword search, towing in Pittsburgh, people start calling the phone number I have on the website, right? And that phone number is a phone number I could control where it routes to. So at first, I have all those calls routing to my voicemail. But when the calls start flowing in, they're going to my voicemail. And in the meantime, I'm calling up an actual towing company in Pittsburgh and seeing if they want to try out these phone calls for a week. So I get them to agree, and then I switch the routing over to the client, and they start getting all the calls that my website's generating, right? Week goes by, I get them back on the phone. They usually, if they close some work, they're usually interested in making a deal. So depending on how many calls I'm getting on average per month, I could charge them anywhere from $500 to $2,000 flat a month, because say they're paying me $1,000 a month, but they're making $5,000 to $10,000 off all my calls. It's no brainer for them. So it's a pretty easy sell, and you're helping a business owner, and you get to work mostly passively, because most of the work is done up front by building and ranking the site. And then once it's rented out, there's not really any maintenance to happen after that. You're basically running credit cards and chasing down declined credit cards. If you're at scale, though. Like if you have like 50 to 100 clients, then that becomes a real mind-boggling issue. But when you have like 5 to 10 clients, it's not really much of an issue. But I have a link to a course in the description that I endorse if you want to learn this business model. There's also just a bunch of videos on the page that explain more in detail how the business model works. So you should definitely check that out. But if you have questions about what I do, shoot me an email. I left my email in the description as well. You could ask me some questions. I'll tell you anything I can. But yeah, this is a great way to build a big pile of cash to start investing into physical real estate, and then maybe even take a course like Cash Flow is King to really accelerate it. I'm a huge proponent of taking courses because they accelerate the learning speed. If you try and learn things on your own, you have to have a lot of mental endurance to be able to stick it out before you make a dollar. If you go a year without making any money from something you're pursuing, you're probably going to give up, like most people do. I know I would. I got my first client with the digital real estate within 3 months, so I saw cash flow real quickly, which is why I stuck it out. But anyways, link in description. Check that out. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. This has been a review of Cash Flow is King. Good luck on your making money online journey.